Brothers and sisters of Africa, hear me today. For too long, they told us to remain silent. For too long, they treated us as children. But I stand here, not as a servant of the West, not as a puppet of their power, but as a free son of Africa. And I will not bow before Netanyahu, or any man who believes his bombs can silence justice. Netanyahu and those like him believe that bombs can silence justice. They think their tanks, their dollars, and their drones will keep us in fear forever. But hear me clearly. A free man never kneels. A free nation never walks on its knees. They tried to rob our lands, to mock our people, to treat us as children who do not understand the world. But I declare today, we are not children. We are the voice that cannot be silenced. We are the storm that cannot be stopped. And if Netanyahu, or anyone else, thinks his throne and his weapons can protect him from the truth, then let him hear these words. History does not bow to cowards, it only remembers the brave. Brothers and sisters, they think Africa is still asleep. They think we are blind, that we cannot see who controls the resources beneath our feet and who writes the lies that the world consumes every day. But I stand here before you to say this. Africa is awake. And when Africa is awake, the world should tremble. For too long, they have sat in their palaces, in Washington, in Paris, in London, and now they even dare to lecture us from Tel Aviv. They speak of democracy, but they sell weapons to dictators. They speak of peace, but they profit from war. They speak of freedom, yet they chain us with debt and call it aid. Is this the justice they preach? Is this the civilization they boast about? If this is civilization, then I say proudly, let us remain uncivilized but free. I hear Netanyahu and his allies in the West talk about security, about their right to defend themselves. But tell me, who defends the children of Africa when they starve because our gold, our uranium, our oil is stolen? Who defends the mothers of Africa when our hospitals have no medicine because our money is parked in European banks? Who defends the dignity of our fathers when they are forced to beg for loans that come with chains? They defend themselves with bombs, while we defend ourselves with courage. And courage, my friends, is stronger than bombs. Let them send their envoys. Let them send their ambassadors with threats and promises. Let them send their journalists to twist my words. I am not afraid, because I do not speak for myself. I speak for a continent that has been silenced for centuries. I speak for the martyrs of our liberation, for Sankara, for Lumumba, for Nkrumah, for all those who stood tall before me and paid with their lives. They killed their bodies, but they could not kill their ideas. And today, those ideas rise again in us. They think Burkina Faso is small. They think Africa is weak. But remember this. A lion is not judged by the size of its cage, but by the strength of its roar. And today, Africa is roaring. The walls of colonial lies are shaking. The thrones built on African blood are trembling. And I tell Netanyahu, I tell the West, I tell the corporations and the banks, your time of exploiting us is ending. You will hear our voice whether you like it or not. And to my people I say, do not be afraid. Fear is their greatest weapon. They want you to believe that without them, you are nothing. But I tell you, without Africa, the world is nothing. Without our minerals, their industries collapse. Without our lands, their supermarkets go empty. Without our youth, their armies cannot march. We are not the ones who should fear. They are, because they know that the day Africa says, enough, their empire crumbles. And today, I stand here to declare, that day has begun. My brothers and sisters, I must ask you, how long will we let others write our history? They tell us who are the heroes and who are the villains, but their books are full of lies. They glorify their wars, their generals, their conquests, but they erase our kings, our queens, our scientists, are builders of civilizations older than theirs. They erase Timbuktu from their classrooms. They erase the libraries of Mali. They erase the greatness of Kush, of Egypt, of Songhai. They want us to believe we are nothing but beggars, waiting for their crumbs. But no more. From this day, Africa will write its own history with its own ink, written not with shame, but with pride. And when I hear the speeches from leaders like Netanyahu, I ask myself, what moral authority do they have to lecture us? A man who justifies oppression against another people dares to tell Africa about freedom. A government that bombs children dares to tell us about human rights. They do not speak truth. They speak propaganda, and they think the world will swallow it. But we are not blind. We are not fools. The same weapons sold to silence Palestine are the weapons used to destabilize Africa. The same financial institutions that fund wars in the Middle East are the ones that rob Africa of its wealth. The chains are the same, only the names change. Do you see what they fear? They fear an Africa that thinks for itself. They fear an Africa that refuses to kneel. That is why they send their media to mock us, why they try to isolate us, why they call us extremists or radicals. But let me say this clearly. If demanding dignity is extremism, then let us all be extremists for freedom. If protecting our people makes us radicals, then let us all be radicals of justice. Look around you. The young people of Africa are no longer asking for permission to dream. They are building, they are organizing, they are uniting across borders. From Ouagadougou to Kinshasa, from Dakar to Johannesburg, a new fire is burning. And this fire is not lit by the West, not lit by Israel, not lit by the United Nations. It is lit by us. And once lit, no one can extinguish it. So I say to the world, do not mistake our patience for weakness. Do not mistake our silence for acceptance. We are not silent because we are weak. We are silent because we are preparing. And now, that silence is broken. This voice, this roar will echo from village to village, from nation to nation, until the chains are shattered. And to the people of Burkina Faso, I say this, we are not alone. Every African child, every African farmer, every African worker is standing with us. Our struggle is their struggle. Our victory will be their victory. And I promise you, no matter how many threats, no matter how many sanctions, no matter how many lies they spread, we will not bend, we will not break, we will not kneel. We will rise, and the world will watch in disbelief. They think Africa is asleep. They think our people are too broken, too hungry, too tired to resist. But let me tell you today, Africa is not asleep. Africa is waking up. And once a giant rises, there is no chain strong enough to bind it, no wall high enough to contain it. For too long, they built their comfort on our suffering. For too long, they fed their children while ours starved. For too long, they filled their banks while ours were empty. But the world is changing, and the balance of power is shifting. Listen carefully. They may have the bombs, they may have the drones, they may have the propaganda. But we have something stronger. We have truth, we have unity, and we have a generation that no longer fears death. They can kill the body, but they cannot kill the spirit of freedom. They can silence one voice, but they cannot silence millions rising together. Do you hear them in Washington, in Paris, in Tel Aviv, in London? They panic because Africa dares to say no. They panic because we are refusing their aid with hidden chains. They panic because we are turning to each other instead of to them. And they panic most of all because young Africans are no longer fooled by their speeches of democracy. When those same voices defend apartheid in Palestine, defend coups when it serves them, defend dictatorships as long as their companies keep stealing our gold, our oil, our uranium. Yes, I will say it clearly. The hypocrisy of the West and of Israel is an insult to human dignity. They preach peace while selling weapons. They speak of human rights while funding oppression. They cry for democracy when their interests are threatened, but stay silent when African blood is spilled for their profit. And they expect us to remain silent. No, silence is over. Fear is over. Submission is over. And I tell our young soldiers, our farmers, our students, never again believe the lie that you are powerless. You are the heartbeat of this continent. You are the builders of the new Africa. And let the world understand this. We are not begging to be included in their system. We are building our own. We are not asking for a seat at their table. We are building a new table, one where Africa is not a guest, but a master in its own home. Yes, they will call us dangerous. Yes, they will call us unstable. Yes, they will try to divide us with their media. But let them call us what they wish, because history will call us free. History will call us courageous. History will call us the generation that stood when others knelt. So when Netanyahu or any leader who justifies the killing of innocents stands on a stage and calls himself a defender of civilization, I say, what civilization kills children? What civilization bulldozes homes? What civilization survives by occupation? If that is their civilization, then Africa rejects it. We will build a civilization of dignity, of respect, of true humanity. Mark my words, one day the same leaders who insult us will come to Africa not as masters, but as beggars. And on that day, it will not be revenge we give them, but a lesson that true strength is not domination, but liberation. My brothers, my sisters, look around you. Do you not feel it? Do you not hear it? The ground itself trembles with the steps of a new generation rising. The winds that once carried the cries of slaves now carry the chants of freedom. This is no ordinary moment. This is the turning of an age. For centuries, they told us Africa could not lead itself. They told us we were too divided, too weak, too primitive. But today, we declare, those days are finished. Today, we speak with one voice. Today, we march with one step. Today, we are no longer the shadows in someone else's empire. We are the authors of our own destiny. And to the leaders in Paris, in Washington, in London, in Tel Aviv, hear this clearly: your time of exploiting Africa is over. You will no longer write our future with your banks, your armies, your contracts. We are tearing those contracts apart. We are breaking the chains you disguised as aid. We are exposing the lies you dressed as democracy. And we are telling the world, Africa will stand on its feet, and Africa will never kneel again. Do you know why they tremble? Because they know the truth, that once Africa is free, the entire world changes. Their markets will fall, their monopolies will break, their control over resources will collapse. That is why they send their soldiers, their propaganda, their puppets. But no army is strong enough to defeat a people awakened. No lie is deep enough to bury the truth forever. And let me speak directly to those who occupy lands that are not theirs, who oppress peoples whose only crime is wanting freedom. I say to Netanyahu, I say to every oppressor who justifies the blood of children in the name of security, history is watching you. Humanity is judging you. And Africa will never stand with you. We stand with the oppressed. We stand with the silenced. We stand with the people who dare to resist. Because we too were occupied. We too were slaves. We too were told our lives meant nothing. But we rose. And so will they. Yes, the cost will be heavy. Yes, the road will be dangerous. But I would rather walk a hard road in dignity than a smooth road in chains. I would rather die standing as a free African than live kneeling as a servant of foreign masters. And I tell every child listening to me today, you are not poor, you are rich with courage. You are not powerless. You are the heirs of a continent that will shape the future of the world. So let the world hear this cry, loud and unshaken. Africa is awake. Africa is united. Africa is unafraid. We are not asking for freedom. We are taking it. We are not waiting for justice. We are building it. We are not begging for respect. We are demanding it. And the world will have no choice but to listen. And when future generations ask, who stood up when Africa was on its knees? Who spoke when silence was safer? Who dared when fear was everywhere? Let the answer be clear. It was us. It was this generation. It was the sons and daughters of Africa who rose from the dust and shouted, never again. This is our moment. This is our destiny. And no empire, no oppressor, no occupier will ever take it away. Because the fire has started, and it will burn until Africa is free. Forever.